boulder in the middle?
This is the palmetto tree, also known as the palm tree, and it's the state tree of South Carolina. And we are on Hilton Head Island, joined by my cousin Sasha and my uncle Steve, and we're in a really special spot. I don't know if you can see this mound that goes the whole way around where I'm standing. This structure was built between 4,000 and 5,000 years ago by Native Americans, and it's made of shells. In fact, if I walk over here, it's oyster shells. I shouldn't assume oyster. I don't know what kind of species shells, but it's just all shell. And it's just a really cool spot. I just read this morning that about a dozen more circle rings like this have been located on Hilton Head Island using LiDAR. So, but this is a big one. It's 150 feet across. It's hard to give many facts except to say it's likely that this had a ceremonial or religious significance. It's important to remember that the sea level has changed over thousands of years, and so right now I'm probably about 4 miles from the ocean, but that's right now in the year 2025, so the ocean has moved in and out as sea level changes. Anyway, the way I think I want to highlight this palm tree is to climb a tree next to it. So I'll show you the setup here. Okay, I got 3 South Carolina classics right here. I got the sweet gum, which is a common tree in the south, a good deciduous tree. I have a loblolly pine, which will get me up real nice and high. I think that's what I'm going to climb. And we have the state tree, the palmetto tree, the palm tree. So rather than climb the palm tree, I thought it'll be more effective if I get my rope in the loblolly, and then I can see the tree from the top, the side, and then coming down. I'm gonna try and get my rope.
That's one where I'm like, I don't know that I'd want to do that at all. Even if I could, I don't know if I would.
All right, I am in Hilton Head, South Carolina, and I'm a guest of the Sea Pines Forest Preserve Foundation, and we're at a place called the Shell Ring. And where my bag is out there is the edge of a ring built between 4,000 to 5,000 years ago, made of seashells. It's 150 feet across, and if I go a little higher, you'll see my red bag. So it goes from that side over to that side, big circle, built by Native Americans 4,000 to 5,000 years ago. And it's just a beautiful forest. But I'm here today to really also showcase South Carolina's state tree, the palmetto tree, the palm tree. So I've been learning a lot about palm trees in the past 24 hours. For one thing, they're not exactly a true tree. Some people say they're more of a grass. I think the more accurate comment would be they're monocots. So you have dicots, like the sweet gum is a dicot. The magnolia behind me is a dicot. These are monocots. So are bamboo, and so are yucca. So pretty amazing tree. They flower in late June, so right about now. You see these kind of stringy structures in there. I had to correct myself. These guys don't make coconuts. There is a coconut palm, but that's not these guys. So why is it the state tree of South Carolina? Well, okay, I am in South Carolina, showcasing the state tree of South Carolina, which is right behind me. Here it is, the palm tree, the palmetto tree. So I climbed a loblolly pine, so that I could get a bird's eye view of the palm tree. Palm trees are a monocot, so they are more related to like bamboo and the yucca plant than to all these deciduous trees, which are dicots. Pretty cool forest though. So why is the palm tree the state tree of South Carolina? And the answer is pretty cool. During the Revolution, just a few miles north of here, there was an American base or American fort on Sullivan Island. And part of the defensive works of the island involved using the trunks of palm trees as barricades. And the British Navy came and bombarded the fort, but the palm tree logs had like a elastic nature about them that repelled the blast of the cannons, and they were unable to dislodge the Americans. And after the battle, South Carolinians said it was because of their native palm tree that made the fortifications so impenetrable to the British Navy. So I believe it wasn't until the 1930s till it was selected as the official state tree. But pretty cool story. This is just a great South Carolina forest. So here in Hilton Head Island. So I want to explain this ring just a little bit more, what we know and what we don't know about this ring, which is why I really chose this specific site. This ring was built by Native Americans 4,000 to 5,000 years ago. And it's obviously, you know, a dump of shells, of seashells from in other words, they'd eat the food, the mussels, and they dump the shells. But the question is, why did they go to the trouble to build a perfect 150-foot diameter circle and a mound 3 to 4 feet tall? And recently, using LiDAR, archaeologists have found 12 more of these similar sites here on Hilton Head Island. And there's a couple more in, I believe, Georgia and Florida, but that's about it, these shell rings. So there's obviously some cultural significance to them in this region. It's pretty hard to determine what that is here in the year 2025. But we can speculate it was possibly ceremonial, religious, you know, all of the above. But there's enough archaeological evidence to show that people did come here 4 seasons of the year. It wasn't just a once-a-year thing. And it's pretty clear that as of about 4,000 years ago, they stopped, you know, other than later native people residing on the island and hunting in the area and whatnot. But in terms of using the rings, they stopped depositing shells about 4,000 years ago. So pretty awesome spot. Has more questions than answers. I love places like that in America. But real quick, before I come down, let's showcase some other South Carolina trees. You got the sweet gum covered in Spanish moss. What a beautiful South Carolina scene that is. I'm gonna go with live oak, but I'll be honest, some of these southern oaks I don't identify real well, but we have an oak tree here that I'll try and key out later. We got a magnolia, and I am in a Loblolly Pine. Most of the forest floor down there is Loblolly Pine needles. And then your state tree, the palm or palmetto. I'm joined by my uncle Steve Wagner and his son-in-law, so my cousin-in-law, I guess, Sasha, and they're visiting from Dallas, Texas area. I don't want to come down. This is an amazing tree. I got a bird up there joining me. Beautiful tree. All right, from this spot you can really see the shell ring really well. So it's like I got my backpack over there on the edge of the ring and my other backpack right there. It's 150 feet across. It's pretty much a perfect circle, It was 3 to 4 feet high at one point in time, built of all shells. And about where Sasha and Steve are standing, archaeologists recently determined there appears to have been some type of a building in the middle. They believe to have recovered the corner, remnants of a corner of a building. So still very mysterious, but certainly built by Native Americans, and shows that 4 to 5,000 years ago, some pretty significant civilization was taking place here. That's slightly older than the pyramids of Egypt. And here you are, you can walk right on it, right up to it, I mean. There's your state tree of South Carolina, the Palmetto. It helped us win our independence from Great Britain at the Battle of Sullivan Island, South Carolina. And I am in the Sea Pines Forest Preserve, managed by the Sea Pines Forest Preserve Foundation. I'm a guest of theirs today. I want to thank them for this amazing South Carolina forest and all the work they do to preserve it. Today when I climbed, I installed what's called a friction saver on my tree so that my rope is not injuring the tree. In fact, my rope is not making direct contact with the tree. When I bring it down, I'll explain the mechanism. But I'm a fan of trying not to leave any mark on my trees when I climb them. I'm a certified arborist, certified forester, and I don't want to harm these trees. What a beautiful, beautiful spot. There it is, the state tree of South Carolina. Okay, I'm standing on the ring, the shell ring, and it goes like this. 150 feet across, 4 to 5,000 years old. I'm in Hilton Head, South Carolina. It's called Shell Ring, and there's a few dozen sites like this in Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina, and that's it. Okay, so I'll show you how I retrieve my friction saver and explain how it protects the tree from my rope. They're not essential to install, but especially when I'm in a place like this, I want to really leave no trace that I was here.
I'm gonna have a hard time explaining this thing. But, whoa, very cool.
Okay.
Have
So,
you seen that?
Hold on, let me show this here. Get the Spanish moss out of here. Okay. So, the way this mechanism works, I got this up and over the limb of the tree, and then my climbing rope went through there so that all the friction is on the metal rings and the limb is not harmed. And then to retrieve it, right, the plastic ball was attached to this, so it pulls through the first ring no problem and gets stuck on the second ring and then pulls it out of the tree. So that's what just happened. And if you're wondering how did we install it, that's a video for another day.